Hi, friends. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Fully Booked and Fulfilled Entrepreneurs Facebook community. I'm so excited to chat with you live today and to really almost like wrap up last week's challenge of creating your CEO schedule and really helping you to feel like you are in this business for a long run. Really, wherever you are, whether you're feeling super challenged today or feeling like you are just like right on track. My intention for you during this training is for you to actually cultivate some of the mindset to know that you can have like a sustainable, resilient business and also enjoy it along the way too. So if you're joining me live, I'd love for you to say hi. Tell me how your weekend was. What was like one of the highlights of your weekend? What did we do this weekend? We went to a kid's birthday party at a local farm, and it was just like a really enjoyable way to spend time with my family and just a few other families as well too. Hi, Habiba. So good to see you here today. Thank you for joining me. Um, and also, if you are catching the replay, don't forget to hit hashtag replay and also be able to comment along too. I just always love hearing from you guys. Habiba says, I've been so busy at work the weekend. Yes, sometimes that's just like the season that you're in, right? Like, especially if you are really trying to launch something new, maybe you do have to work this weekend. And so hope that it was still, enjoyable. And then you made some progress on some of your projects as well too. Okay, so today I really want to talk about the belief that has made the difference between wanting to stick with my business and quit. I think as I was preparing for this live, I was also thinking, I was thinking, I actually decided that there was three beliefs instead of just one main one. I mean, I think the main belief is, really asking yourself this question of, if I want my business to be my long-term career, what would I do differently? I think having that perspective of knowing that what you're building today is going to lay that foundation, not only for, tomorrow, but also like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, really having that perspective of impact and sustainability, maybe not even in your lifetime, but maybe this, is a legacy that can go on for future generations as well too. But when you have that perspective, like what would you do differently? And so today I wanted to talk about three beliefs that could really help you in terms of just having that perspective and just like sticking with it, sticking with the challenges, learning from the challenges, and building that resilience and sustainability as well too. Okay. So the first belief that I want you, and again, like these are all beliefs that you could sort of adopt, you can sort of try on, see if they fit for you, see how you like see how you like them. But hopefully, again, I'll just give you permission to know that what you're doing right now is going to benefit you in the long run. So the first belief is that my success is inevitable. Right? Your success is inevitable. Like, as long as you keep going, right? There's no such thing as failure, just only lessons. And the reason why this belief has really made a big difference is when you when you know, like, okay, this is meant for me, right? Like, this business is meant for me, like this level of success is meant for me. I just have to keep going, right? And when you have that belief, it does a few things. First, it kind of almost releases the deadlines or the timelines or any pressure that you feel, that in order for you to like actually do things in a certain time period, right? I know that, if you have projects and things like that too, like, of course, deadlines are things that are going to keep them moving and keep you on track. But I'm talking about like big picture, business success. right? Like your success is inevitable, like as long as you keep going and don't give up. And and another thing too is that like I know that entrepreneurship is challenging. And I know that especially, this past 18 months, like small business owners, we have had to deal with a ton of there's like uncertain circumstances, a lot of new challenges as well too. Um, However, if you can really build this belief to know like your success is inevitable, then you can also trust that you can, as you build the business in the hardest year of your life, right, amidst tough circumstances, like you can do anything. Like you can do anything. And I hope this too, like this mindset will help give you a lot of grace to like make mistakes, right? To embrace imperfection, to maybe experience failure so that you can learn and grow from it. Like if you believe that your success is inevitable, inevitable, you're just more open to enjoying more of the journey. Okay. And I think sometimes like when you're starting up, or if you're experiencing a season where things feel really, really tough, like you may just forget this truth. You may just may feel like, oh, what, why is this even worth it? Like I there's no way that I can, there's all these challenges. But I think when like like when you're so locked in on your destination, then all of the challenges that pop up, it just becomes opportunities to like create solutions, right? To be able to solve those problems, to be able to know like, hey, I can figure this out. I could trust myself to figure this out. And so that's why this belief is makes a really big difference between like quitting and saying like, oh, like this, like I'm just not meant for this, right? I think that's kind of like the connection point between wanting to quit and feeling like you're not meant for this, versus knowing like intuitively with all of your heart, know like, hey, like I am meant for this. Like this path, entrepreneurship, is meant for me. And when you truly believe that, then all those little things are just like things that you can just figure out right along the way, that you can that you can figure out along the way. The second belief that I would love you guys to try on today is, again, when you have the perspective of my business as the potential to be my long-term career, then the belief is learn to rest and not to quit. Right? Learn to rest and not to quit. I'm sure this is a quote from somebody that friends have reminded me of this. I have mentors remind me of this too. So I don't know exactly like who to accredit this to, but I really love like this reminder of learning to take care of yourself, right? To learning to put your own mental health, your own physical health, your own energy, and making that as a priority, right? And really understanding like your worth is actually not tied to your business growth, right? And really seeing it from the perspective of knowing like you are your biggest asset. And so it's super important to be able to protect your own energy, and learning to rest. It really allows you to be able to sustain that success and also prevent tons of burnout that allows you to keep going. Again, I've seen this in my own clients of like when they feel like they want to quit, which I'm going to normalize that right now. Like I feel like everybody feels like that from time to time, right? And so, but then I think just really challenging them and really asking them like, have you been prioritizing your own sleep? Right? Have you been really drinking enough water, or really taking care of your own health? Because I think a lot of times, like when we are just like really tired or really drained or on that verge of burnout, like we're not thinking super clearly, and we're not thinking super like maybe like objectively or strategically when it comes to our business, like we're just tired, right? But the solution isn't like quit the business, burn the whole thing down. The solution is, right, just like take a time out. Like it could be as simple as like a nap, or brain dumping all the things that are weighing on your mind before bed so you have a good night's sleep, right? Maybe turning off your phone and all the tech like an hour before bed so you can get like a really good rest, or maybe like talking to and confiding in a friend about what's weighing on your mind and the anxieties that you're experiencing so that you can kind of release that, release that pressure. And it's like, what are some ways that you can learn to rest in the little, maybe like the day to day, maybe, on a weekly, quarterly, monthly, yearly basis, right? Creating these rhythms of sustainability so that you don't burn yourself out, right? So that like, I'm in this for the long haul. Because I'm in this for the long haul, it's important for me um, to have this kind of rhythm of rest so that I can also work hard, sprint, do all the things that you need to do, and to make those things happen. Awesome. And then the last thing, the third belief that I want you to try on today is this idea of like, my way is the right way. My way is the right way. And in parentheses, I wrote this down too, like, my way is the right, like in parentheses, for me way. Another way to say this is, I think a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to actually pick the strategy that you enjoy, or pick the service or the products that you actually enjoy. I think a lot of times we are trying to maybe like build a business in a way that's like similar to how other people, like we see other people building their businesses that way, and they're creating success, their version of success, and that's great for them. But then we try it on, it doesn't quite work for us. And that leads to, again, like a lot of just the process of business building feeling unaligned, right? Like, oh, this is not quite right for me. And so really, when you allow yourself and give yourself the permission to do business activities that you actually enjoy, right? Doesn't mean that, I think when you chase the almost like the fulfillment piece, then when challenges do pop up, you're just a lot more able and inclined to be able to tackle those challenges, because there is some sort of like natural, because you enjoy the work that you're doing in like a in a natural way, if that makes sense. Right. So really even asking yourself the question of, when it comes to like a business strategy, like for example, let's say marketing through podcasts, right? You're going to create such a much more like sustainable marketing strategy if you're choosing something that you naturally enjoy. And even if you're asking yourself the question of like, even if one person listened to my podcast, would I still do this? Even if I just impacted one person through my podcast, like, would I still want to do this like again and again and again, right? Of course, more people will listen to your podcast if you keep going. Of course, you can make more impact the longer you do it, the better that you improve it little by little. But to encourage sustainability, I think if you really ask yourself, okay, do I naturally like doing this? And if the answer is yes, then of course, like figuring out how to get better at it is going to be a challenge that you're going to be up for, right? You're not going to want to quit on episode 4 just because you didn't want to do it in the first place. And so really giving yourself the permission of of choosing something that you actually enjoy, choosing something that you actually enjoy. On the flip side of this too, I think of this belief of like my way is the right way for me. The flip side to that is not making yourself wrong over all of the little things, not not making like I think a lot of times a lot of energy is spent in feeling like you're not doing it right, right? Feeling like, oh, other people must know better than me, or feeling like I I'm not like feeling like, oh, this is hard. That must mean something is wrong with me. And those again, like those the beliefs are things that you can just let go of right now, because again, those are the things that are just gonna lead to you wanting to quit like sooner rather than sticking with it. Um, so the antidote of not making yourself wrong is to actually just normalize a ton of business challenges, right? It's like not making it wrong that you are dealing with challenges, and actually seeing challenges as a part of, oh, you're growing a business, right? You're growing personally. Like you're actually putting out work, into the marketplace, and just seeing business challenges as a part of the process of doing work that you love, right? Making things that people like, of just really of entrepreneurship and the trajectory of that too. And so again, like when you don't make yourself wrong for having a hard time, I think it really does again like just normalizes so much of what you're going through. Another thing too is a lot of times I think when it comes to mindset, it's like something happens, right? And we don't completely understand like why something happens. And so what our brains will do is like they'll kind of tell us stories to sort of fill in the blank of what happened, right? Like for example, a client no longer wants to continue working with you, right? She wants to end her contract early. So a key part of not making yourself wrong is to understand, number one, again, like normalizing it. Like this is a part of business. Like if you are going to work with clients, again, there's going to be the possibility that they don't want to work with you. Like there's always kind of like that risk. And so that's totally normal. But then the second piece of that too is then it's like really being intentional about the story that you're telling yourself. And when you're not making yourself wrong of like, oh, like she doesn't want to continue her contract because I must not be good at what I do, or she must be ending her contract because I shouldn't be in business in the first place. You know what I mean? And all of those lies can really, again, like just like build up and make you want to quit. When reality, it could be something as simple as, oh, she has a ton going on in her life, and the service that you provide, right, isn't a good fit for her anymore in this season, right? It could just be as simple as she no longer needs what you have to offer, and so what's best for both of you is to stop working together, right? And when you're able to see that as just what it is, it's normal, right? It's actually fine, like there's nothing wrong with you, then you're going to be able to know like, okay, like that was again a blip in the radar, like my success is inevitable. All I got to do is, I have an opening to get another client. And so again, just like letting go of that, really believing like my way is the right way for me when it comes up even enjoying the client work in the first place, and then not making yourself wrong when you're experiencing challenges too. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for you to recap, I think it's just, I guess, to boil down what I want you to walk away today is to really know, like, success is available to you. It really is. You just have to, number one, keep going. Number two, really learn how to rest and build those sustainable rhythms of work and play. And number three, just like not making yourself wrong for having challenges and really figuring out that your way is the right way for you. So let me know in the chat box which one of these three you feel like would make the biggest difference for you in just enjoying the process, staying with it, and not quitting, even when you feel like you want to, because truth is you will. You definitely will. And I really wanted to, again, remind you that I do have one spot open for my 3-month one-on-one business coaching package. Really, this is going to be a really good fit for somebody who really you do really want to work with the strategy piece of your business, but also you really believe that the mindset piece is what makes the biggest difference. Okay, especially in the post 2020 world, there's just more noise, more distraction, more challenges, and I really truly believe it's so important to surround yourself with people who do believe in you and to reflect that success is possible for you as well too. And so for you to be able to cultivate that belief in yourself. Okay, a lot of my clients are heart-centered women who have really big dreams and all of the expertise in the world, but they struggle with like putting themselves out there online in like consistent and visible kind of way. And so we'll work together to personally build that solid business foundation, so that, right, the things that you're going to be setting up within the 90 days of us working together, like my goal is always for you that after we leave our work together, for you to be able to continue to trust that you can troubleshoot the right problems, and trust that when challenges do pop up, that you have the ability to be able to figure it out and figure it out in a way that works best for you and for your business. I do have one spot left for my 3-month coaching package before I raise my rates to a 6-month coaching package, because I see my clients re-signing the 3-month package, and 6 months is that sweet spot of knowing, like, first 90 days we can really start to set up a lot of the strategy and the mindset, and then another 3 months on top of that would just be a great way for you to solidify that as well too. So if that's something that you're interested in, just reach out and DM me. I'd love to book a discovery call to help you get some clarity on whether working together will be the next best step for you. Teresa says, "Hey, Teresa, so good to see you here." Teresa says, "Enjoying the process." That is 100% right. It's like when you know that your outcome is yours, then that just releases so much pressure that you feel that you have, so that you can really enjoy the process. And that Habiba said, "Yes, enjoy the process for me too. Some days are hard to keep going." Yeah, thank you so much for saying that, Habiba. And that's kind of like my intention for coming on today and sharing this, is to see you in the challenge, right? I know that the challenge, the challenges are real. I'm not gonna like lie about how difficult business could be, but I also know that, it's a part of it, right? We kind of signed up for this gig of entrepreneurship. And so when you know, like, hey, there will be challenges along the way, but I can figure it out, and I could get support around it. And, I can solve these problems. And, I can let go of the things that I don't need to worry about as well too. Right. That's gonna really free up a lot of that mental brain space, a lot of that energy too, to be able to enjoy the process as well. So I'm definitely encouraging you ladies to keep going. Your success is inevitable. Oh, that word always kind of it kind of trips me up too. And again, to know like this business could potentially be your long-term career, right? Like, and if you've still had 30, 30 years, 40 years, 50 more years left to do this work, then enjoy what you have today, right? And just enjoy what's presented to you today. You don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff um, that's been weighing on your mind. And then the last thing that I'll leave you with too that kind of popped into my mind is sometimes too it might be helpful for you to think from that perspective of your 65-year-old self. I did this exercise recently too, where it's like you like write a letter from the perspective of your 65-year-old like grandma self, like that wise version of yourself who's already created the successful business, who's already overcome all the challenges, who's already like figured out all the things that you're trying to figure out today, right? And then when you kind of step into that perspective from the lady who who's weathered all of the things that you've weathered, what would she say to you in this moment? Right? You can ask her some questions that you have. Maybe you're trying to figure out what's the direction that you want to take your business. Maybe you're trying to figure out like what does fully booked mean to you this quarter. Maybe you're trying to figure out what what's the best way to grow your community, right? Like you can kind of gain wisdom from that 65-year-old wise self, right? When I did this exercise and wrote a letter to from the perspective of my 65-year-old self, the overwhelming feeling was like, hey girl, like you don't need to you can worry less. You don't have to worry so much because it will work out. And as long as you keep the focus on building relationships that are true to you, that are authentic to you, as long as you keep the focus on what actually matters, like listening to people, asking powerful questions, right? Really working in a way that lights you up. Like those are the things that really matter. So just keep your focus on those things, and then you'll get there. You'll definitely get there. So I hope that could be an exercise for you to try on, do, see what new ahas come up for you too. And if you do that, I would love to know as well too. So you can feel free to reach out and tell me any takeaways that you have from that exercise. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me live today. And if you are interested in working with me in that 3-month one-on-one coaching package, just feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.